Are the Dodgers destined to repeat? Which team will end their World Series drought? What team's going to disappoint everybody? Automated balls and strikes. It's all here in the 2025 Major League Baseball Belly Up Super Show, brought to you by SeatGeek. Let's get into her.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Baseball season is once again upon us, so it's time for the Belly Up Sports 2025 Major League Baseball Super Show, brought to you by SeatGeek. Are the Dodgers destined to repeat? Has it got late early for the Yankees? Is a new team ready to emerge? Lots of new faces and new places are looking to make major impacts in their new homes. State of the game, rule changes, favorites, predictions, and we will finally settle the great hot dog debate. It's the Belly Up Sports 2025 Major League Baseball Super Show, brought to you by SeatGeek. So sit back, grab a beverage, and let's get into her. All right, we're a couple of days away from the start of the Major League Baseball season, the actual opening day of the Major League Baseball season. Tonight's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Remember, we are all part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all their great articles and podcasts. A bunch of my guests that are coming here today. It's the 2025 Major League Baseball season preview super show, brought to you by SeatGeek. First up, we'll bring in the silky smooth voice of a transplant all of a sudden into Milwaukee, into Wisconsin. The silky smooth sounds of Vince Stover of the Sports Stove podcast. Vince, how are you, sir?
What's going on, Brent? I'm better now that baseball's here.
It's we'll talk about it, obviously, when Kevin gets in. We have a bit of disagreement when opening day actually was the real opening day to me. It's odd to me. Before we get everybody in here, it's odd to me that the Dodgers are going back to playing preseason games after their regular season games. Quick thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Major League Baseball, man, there's so many good things about it, but the way they run the organization, I think is horrendous. But hey, it's baseball. We had real baseball. Back to fake baseball. We'll get back to real baseball.
It's only a couple of days away. Here we go. Next up, we'll get Kevin's thoughts on that. I know he's a big Dodger fan, our senior fantasy writer for Belly Up Sports. Kevin, what's your rebuttal? I'm sure you have one there for Vince.
I absolutely do have one. It was live. It was baseball. It was the Dodgers. There we go. Okay. It was opening day, and I know I'm 13%, but I'll take it every single day. So opening day, I was for it. And I'm for it again this week. So there we have it.
There, it's the debate's wide open. We'll bring in next up Jared Klem from the Corner Booth podcast. First time coming onto the first time I've been joining the sports bar on my show kind of deal. Jared, your take. I know you're not a Dodger guy because you're with the Arizona Diamondbacks. You break the tie here. What do you think of that opening day and how it all turned out a week ago? Even if it was the rival LA Dodgers involved.
Well, I never really had an issue with the Tokyo series. I always thought it was a cool way to kind of expand the game and give it a global outreach. But opening day is the first day of the season for everyone else. That's Thursday. That's when it's opening day for me, when we will hopefully beat the Cubs on the first day of the season. That's like when it is to me, not when it's a 2-game set, when it's 6 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. I
was eating breakfast, so I was good.
Kev, what time zone are you in?
I'm in the Central Time Zone.
Okay, so damn, 5 a.m., man. Good for you.
Jared, 5 a.m., eating breakfast, watching baseball.
Jared, you get to a certain age, 5 a.m. isn't that big of a deal. That's when you wake up.
I do that anyway.
You go to bed after the early bird special.
5 a.m. is normal.
That's one of those things. Next up, we got writer, one of the only baseball writers for Belly Up Sports, does a great job. Yankee fan through and through. Saw an Aaron Judge monumental home run. Talks about it all the time. I've had him on the 1420 podcast a few times. Here he is, Mr. Eric Katz. Eric, what is happening?
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, little technology is great until you can't use it. Oh. There we go.
We'll start again. Glad baseball is back. It's going to be another fantastic season. We, so many storylines to follow, and hopefully we see a new team making some noise this year. I definitely have my eye on the Diamondbacks. Shout out to you, Jared. And it's going to be another fantastic year. And as far as I think you were talking about the Tokyo series, right, Brett?
Yeah.
Well, I like it. I mean, I wish they just did it on. I wish they would just do it like on regular opening day, but I'm all for it. I like the idea of, especially with the Dodgers, considering they've kind of acquired kind of Team Japan there. I like the idea of going overseas and kind of giving the game a more global outreach, kind of like how the NFL has done by going to like Brazil and different countries. I'd like to see more of it kind of expanded around the globe.
Go to a foreign country like Canada, make it a lot easier. Next up, Matt Ordazzo from the Corner Booth podcast, another Yankee fan invading the territory. How you doing, Matt?
Oh, I'm doing great. Got baseball on Thursday, and you know what? If the Yankees signed me today, I'd be the healthiest man on that team, which means that tells me that baseball is back. When Stan and Cole and everybody are hurt, baseball is back. You know, that Tokyo series has nothing to do with the Dodgers or the Cubs, but if I wake up at like 6 o'clock to get ready for work and the game's already in the 7th inning, man, I can't acknowledge it. I wish it was a little later in the time because I'd love to watch some early spring baseball, but man, I ain't getting up at 5 a.m. when I have to be up at 6.
It's a lot. It's it's just tough for me. There's got to be a better way to do it. And like you said, Vince, there's something that they could possibly do to make it easier than to get more eyeballs on it, because who knows what's actually watching over here. Last but certainly not least, coming on from the 3rd and 10 podcast, plus a writer for Belly Up Sports as well, amongst his other tasks he's got going on for the network. Probably was a pretty happy guy back in November when Mr. Juan Soto decided to go across town, and here's Mr. Brian Germanaro from Belly Up Sports.
How you doing, Brian? Generational talent, Juan Soto. What's up, boys? Thank God baseball's back, because I can't wait to see Juan Soto smash home runs in Citi Field this year.
He walks pretty good. Like he's a good walker.
Pretty good too.
He's one of those guys.
Just can't play defense.
That's one of the storylines that everybody's up against for sure. But I want to get into spring training. I umpire baseball at an amateur level and at some higher levels of college baseball as well. And I've always been personally against this. And I want to get your take on this, Kevin. We'll kind of go through the gamut a little bit of age groups. But I'm against having basically the balls and strikes being called that way. I just thought like the human element of the game. And one of the first games I saw this year went for the Yankees, where a strike was called a strike, then it was a ball, and a pitch later, guy hit a double, changed the outcome of the game. I get it. It's one of those things. What was your take on I thought it was quick. I thought it was well done. But what's your take on the automated balls and strikes and how it all went down?
I think that as long as, and you had it, Brent, how long does it take to get the call in? That's the key about review in any form. And so I thought it all went pretty smoothly. And if they want to put it in, I'm fine with it. If they wanted to leave it out, I'm certainly fine with that as well. The human element is a part of sports. So either way, there are some things that baseball has done where I shake my head, but this is not one of them.
Matt, what was your thoughts on that?
Baseball is in better hands now that Weston and Hernandez are no longer active MLB umpires. However, you can't escape, the other ones like Laz Diaz and Buckner sometimes. So I do kind of like this automatic strike zone kind of thing. I do enjoy how the players can choose to challenge if they don't agree with the call. It is not a 100% accurate system, but I think it is a lot better, or maybe a little more accurate than what we currently have in place with the regular umpires. But I'm for keeping it. I'm for getting rid of it. But I think it was a really good experiment overall.
I think the biggest thing for me is when you have a call that might cost your team not just a game in April or May or June, but something came down to the World Series and they got overturned. I don't know how I'd be happy with my team, but I like it's just the human element of it all. I don't know. It's odd to me. Vince, what was your thoughts on the whole thing?
Well, I talked with the Giants infielder several years ago about this, and he was a guy that was in the minors. He came up, he played for a season in San Francisco and then back to the minors. And he said, listen, umpires have hurt my career and I've hurt the career of thousands of others. And to have that automated strike zone gives him a legit opportunity to prove that he didn't swing because it was a ball. And he said back then, this was back in 2021, he said, my career would be different, I believe, if we had this in, because I have guys that call a strike when it was a ball, and then I get sent back down because I didn't swing when it was clear ball. So it changed my opinion on it because I'm old school. Let's keep the umpires messing up It creates so much entertainment. And it stinks when it hurts your team. But after that conversation, it really changed my opinion on it more of, well, yeah, I guess to get it right is more important than to be entertained sometimes.
Belly up sports, we're not just entertaining, we're educational. I never thought of it that way either there, Vince. That's a very good point, because I'm pro umpire when it comes down to it. And if a player doesn't swing, well, swing the bat, man, whatever. It's half an inch outside. Your vision's not that good as my thoughts, but I could be a little bit wrong. Just go the other way with it. Who cares? Whatever. Brian, what's your thoughts on the automated strike zone and how it all came around? Because you got a guy now. He's got an eye for everything. So is going to be more walks for him, or make him swing the bat a little bit?
Probably a mix of both, if we're being honest. But no, I like the system. Like everyone says, I hate it if you lose a game because your team got screwed over by a bad call. You know, we think back to perfect games that have been messed up because of a bad call. Now that we could stop that with, a challenge, I think it's great for the game. It'll get more people interested in the game if we can get, as close to perfect as possible.
Eric, the thing about it is, if you hear a lot of, and it's football, basketball, hockey, whatever sport it is, when you got guys, if you leave it in the umpire's hands or the referee's hands, you probably weren't going to win that game unless it's a really close, whatever it might be. What's your thoughts on that? Because that's the counterpoint of the whole thing.
I don't love it, to be truthful, because we're expecting the game to be a little too perfect. That's the great thing about sports. It's very imperfect. I mean, the challenge system's fine. I get it. Bang bang plays and all that. I get that the human eye can't always catch that, so I'm all good with that. But this balls and strikes thing, come on. It's always been a judgment call. But I've been an umpire before at the little league level, and yes, parents, that was you could see the downfall of youth sports right before your very eyes when you did it.
That's another throw for another day.
But I don't love it. I mean, as far as just leaving it in the umpire's hands, come on. If it's a 3-2 count, you better go down swinging, because if you're going to leave it in the umpire's hands, odds are it's not going to go your way. And if it does, you just happen to have a lot of luck that day. And it's just, I don't love it. I just think that we don't need to become like the NFL, where you can challenge everything. That's the beauty of baseball, is the strike zone's always imperfect. I mean, half an inch outside, big deal. You probably, if it was that close, you should have tried to put the club head on the ball anyway. But I don't love it. I think we're just trying to become a little too perfect.
I think what they could do is what they should find out is what time the umpire's dinner reservations are for after the game, to see what the strike zone is going to be at a certain point. And that's an actual thing, but we probably shouldn't divulge too many secrets.
Wait till there's a team in Las Vegas, Brent.
Oh yeah, the reservations. Yeah, gotta go. Fastest game in the history of baseball. Gotta go. Craft table just over here. I gotta go. Kevin, let's go right to you. Your Dodgers won the World Series in 5 games. That series kind of went sideways on the Yankees in basically 2 innings, with the drop ball in Game 5 that Judge had, and then the controversial, I guess you could say, pitching matchup in extra innings in Game 1. But the Dodgers are heavily favored. They got a $25 billion payroll this season alone. Divert money, whatever. That's not neither here nor there. I know you're a Dodger fan. Can you see anybody, and just going to be very, obviously very biased in your opinion, is anybody going to take down the Dodgers?
I think so. And I wrote an article not too long ago, and Vince and I talked about this. If I was to put money, and I was to put aside my Dodger affiliation, I would put money on the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the reason why I would do that is because they've got a great offense, and they've got 2 of the top pitchers at the top of the rotation. And so if they make the playoffs, they'll be a very difficult matchup for whomever they play with those 2 top guys coming at you. You're going to have to beat those in the playoffs. So I checked it this morning. The Diamondbacks were 3,000 to 1 odds of winning the World Series. So you put $10 in, they win. That's $30,000 for you. So if I was to put off my Dodger, glasses, which would be difficult for me to do because I've been a fan of theirs since I was in high school, but if I was to do that, Arizona Diamondbacks is who I'd look at.
Jared, that rolls right into you, man. Like, that's a pretty ringing endorsement right off the bat for your Diamondbacks, who haven't done much of anything since, well, we don't want to talk about that one either in 2001. But
I mean, you did make the World Series 2 years ago, Brent.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, but yeah. I get it. But so what's your thoughts on Kevin's ringing endorsement for your Arizona Diamondbacks?
Well, I'm kind of happy you didn't let me talk about umpires because everyone knows my notions about professional umpires and referees and their lack of usage in America. Anyway, my favorite thing about this is that I love the love that Arizona is getting this year. From everyone except for like the sports writers. I'm noticing a lot of everyone trying to put the Padres or Giants. I think Arizona is a big threat. You also got to throw some love to Philadelphia, Atlanta, even. I want to see Brian's Mets stay healthy before I throw them that conversation. Because as much as we have injury problems, they take it to a new level in New York, both teams. But with the Diamondbacks, the biggest key is they went out and fixed almost every one of they replaced any guy they lost with somebody who's just as good or better or younger. Do I think they're going to lose a little defense with the Josh Naylor replacement of Christian Walker? Yeah, but they get a better bat Naylor. They finally got rid of Paul Sewell, who cost us a World Series. They now have Justin Martinez in his place. They add guys in the bullpen. Corbin Burns is probably the best starter we've had since maybe before Zach Greinke. There's a lot to be excited about in Arizona, and they have a reputation for being the thorn in the Dodgers side for a very long time. So it is something to be excited about. It's not a cut and dry NL champions are going to be wearing Dodger blue. So I love hearing that.
Vince, what's your thoughts? Can someone take down the mighty Dodgers? Because repeating as World Series champion hasn't happened in a long, long time, and it's tough to do. Winning stuff. And no matter what kind of payroll, what the Dodgers have extra elbows in there at their disposal. But can someone just come out and get it done and take the Dodgers down? And who would you pick?
Yeah, so they definitely can. That's the answer to the first question, I suppose. I said same thing. Pizza money, just throw away money, put it on the Diamondbacks. It makes the most sense. Philadelphia loaded roster, but they just always kind of seem to just not do what they need to do in the end. I think Atlanta's incredibly dangerous, obviously health dependent. Last year they fell apart like Humpty Dumpty, but they're put back together now. And once they're healthy, Strider's going to be back in before too long. And if they're healthy come playoff time, they'll make a move too at some point this season to add somebody else. So I like Atlanta as well. On the AL side, I don't trust anybody on the AL side to do the job at this point, at the very least, the way it sits. Baltimore, they just don't have the pitching. The Yankees, I don't trust their health. Everybody else is just they're maybe above average, but they're not great. At the end of the day, the depth of the Dodgers is so good. The pitching staff, I mean, they got 8 at least starting pitchers that even with injury, they still have a full 5. It's not a problem. They're probably going to do some 6-man rotation throughout the year. They're solid. So the Dodgers should win, but definitely they could be taken down. And I would say the same teams Jared mentioned and Kevin mentioned, with Arizona, Philadelphia, and Atlanta are the teams to watch.
Matt, we'll go into you there. The Yankees are the Yankees. Like you said earlier on, the injuries that happen, I don't think they're in a bad spot. This isn't a Yankee thing, but do you think the Yankees have a shot at taking on the Dodgers, or the Dodgers, it's them and everybody else? What's your take on the Dodgers?
I think this current state of the team, I think it's the Dodgers, and hopefully and see if there's anybody else. I love the Yankees, obviously being a huge fan of them, but the injuries are a part of their game, unfortunately, and they do respond pretty well to them a lot of times. But, early on to lose Gill, Schmidt, and Cole is a massive hit to that starting rotation. And I know Schmidt's only going to miss, I believe, 1 start. Gill will come back in June. But also the question mark with Cole, when is he going to come back next year? And Stanton, are you even going to play this year? So I have to leave my Yankees out just to be non-biased. If I do have any team that are going to top the Dodgers, which is going to be very tough, because believe it or not, the Dodgers significantly, in my opinion, improved this team this past season with the pitching, the bullpen, keeping the starting lineup relatively the same, but they didn't need to really make any adjustments with that. But I like Philadelphia. I know that was one of the teams that I think Vince was mentioning, to go a little different than the Diamondbacks, which I do highly believe in the Diamondbacks this season. But I like the Phillies. Their starting rotation, they made some small improvements with adding Luzardo in with Wheeler and Nola. Bullpen's still probably going to be in a little bit of a question, but that's such a powerful offensive lineup that when that team is rolling, we saw them just put a clinic up offensively in this past season, in the year before. And I think if they can get on stride in the playoffs, I think offensively, they could take the Dodgers down if they get that spark going. Everybody's on the same page.
Brian, you're a Mets guy, and they had the big acquisition. Blah blah blah. We beat that thing to death, and whatever. It's one of those things. Uh, have the Mets done enough to overtake the Dodgers and maybe win themselves a championship? Because you added a guy who walks a lot.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, they definitely have with the addition of Juan Soto. That 1 through 5 is going to be great. It's all comes down to what the starting pitching is going to do. You know, how is
Soto
Clay
doesn't
Holmes
pitch.
gonna,
Oh, okay. I just
yeah,
curious.
starting
Yeah.
pitching. How is Clay Holmes going to adapt to being a starter? Is Griffin Canning and Frankie Montas, whenever he gets back from injury, is he going to have the same level of is he gonna have a season like Sevy did and Sean Manaea did last year, where they kind of came out of nowhere and refound their game? Is Sean Manaea going to be able to repeat what he did in 2024? If all that breaks right for the Mets, they definitely have a shot to beat the Dodgers. But I'm with you guys. I think teams like the Phillies, the Braves, even though those teams kill me to say it, have a good shot to do it, and the Diamondbacks, of course, have a good shot to top the Dodgers.
It is quite crazy the way that all turned out. Eric, I want to hear your rebuttal on that about the what Brian just said about the Mets and if they have a shot, and what are your thoughts about the Dodgers? Are they just too good for baseball?
The Mets don't have the pitching. The starting pitching is just full of liabilities all over, with the exception of maybe Kodai Senga. I mean, their bullpen, especially like right now, we have no idea what they're going to get from them. And then as far as the team that can take, I mean, the Dodgers are a loaded gun, no doubt. And I think I think the team that can take them out can be the Arizona Diamondbacks, because that rotation has a bunch of number ones in it, with Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez. I mean, let's be honest. We all know that all 5 of them would be on number ones in any other rotation except this one. Their bullpen's improved. Remember, it was them who led the National League in average runs per game, not the Dodgers. It was, I mean, do they lose a little defense with the loss of Christian Walker? Yeah, but I think they're letting him go at the right time personally, because he's father time. You can only push out father time for so long, but Josh Naylor is obviously a proven performer with the bat. So I'm expecting an offense that was already great to be even better. And I think Keto Marte, who if he stays healthy has a chance to make a run at the MVP award. And it's going. Yep, excuse me. And it's going to be. I think personally, the Diamondbacks have been the thorn in the Dodgers side, and I personally think they'll be the ones to take them out in October. And I'm telling you, the Dodgers, and I wrote about this too. The Dodgers have a target so big, it's bigger than the scoreboard at Dodger Stadium.
You're muted, Brent.
I got to go to a sports book afterwards and make some kind of a deal. Sorry about that, guys. 5 teams that have never won the World Series, and one of them, Vince, is your Milwaukee Brewers. The other are the Colorado Rockies, Tampa Bay Rays, San Diego. Who's going to win a World Series? Who's going to be one of the first teams to ever to get rid of this slump? And do your Milwaukee Brewers kind of have a shot at maybe doing something? Because they're a playoff team, they're perennial. They're right around there, like I said before, licking the jar a little bit. Which of these teams has a chance to beat the streak and maybe get something done?
Well, I mean, making the playoffs is the first part, right? You got to give yourself a chance at the very least. Milwaukee's not good enough this year to do that for sure. They've got some up and coming pitchers that's gonna give them a shot. The window's gonna open again in maybe 2 or 3 years for Milwaukee. I think San Diego has the best shot of the group right now to get it first. That being said, none of them are like sitting right on the edge of getting that monkey off their back. I think San Diego has the best shot first. I think, again, Milwaukee will be back in the conversation in 2 or 3 years with some of these prospects, pitchers, especially like when they brought Burns, and they had Burns and Woody when they were younger, and Peralta fresh into the majors. That's when they were at their best. And they're going to have that again here, like I said, in about 2 or 3 years. So San Diego has the best chance to do it first. Milwaukee will be back in the picture. Tampa has, man, did they take a turn? They were so consistent for so long, and it's fallen apart, I think, in Tampa right now. So I don't count them in. The Rockies, listen, same thing with them. They got some young guys, and you give them another 3 or 4 years if they continue with it. they'll be at least competitive again. But yeah, San Diego and Milwaukee are the two I keep an eye on.
Jared, the Seattle Mariners have kind of been just forever. Just they're in Seattle, kind of forgotten about. And what would you say to a Mariners fan to keep their chin up or whatever it might be, to say, hey, you have a chance? And do the Mariners, like, I know I see you shaking your head there for those who are listening on the podcast forum later on, but you're shaking your head about the Seattle Mariners. And is it just never land? Like, by never, I mean, like there was a long time, but this one could be forever.
You know what's so funny? They have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball nobody talks about. But on top of that, they basically are sitting there with like 3 or 4 guys in the hit. Julio Rodriguez was the greatest thing in America in 2022 and 2023. And he's basically had like one bad season. And they've basically kind of fallen off. I don't know. The cool thing about the AL West is there's no dominant team anymore. The Astros had their stretch, don't tell Hector, for a while. But now they've kind of come back down to earth. They let Bregman walk. They still have Yordan Alvarez and those guys, but the Angels are a dumpster fire. Nate's A's are fun, and then you have just like the Rangers and the who are just kind of, they're an in between team. You don't know if they're going to win 100 games or 60. So the Mariners have a shot. They really do. They just have to find their identity and stick to it, especially when they have this good of an opportunity to make the playoffs. They have a shot. It's just like, what are they going to do with this opportunity? That's why I was shaking my head, I guess.
I kind of got to laugh at teams who have never won a World Series, like the ones we named, and then there's teams that haven't won a World Series in quite some time, like, I don't know, the New York Mets. Brian, what's are the, like, it wasn't in your lifetime.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. So
well,
do you even do you go like the one, the amazing Mets of, what was it, 69 and then 186? Do you go around and say, like, are you part of that group of 5 now? It's been so long. Or you or you still have one? And do you have a banner in your back home, or what's going on there with the Mets?
We have memories. We have memories we can look back on. It's on YouTube.
There's a VHS tape somewhere in someone's basement. Yeah. Of those teams that haven't won one, compare them to the Mets, and which one? Don't compare them to the Mets, because the Mets are going to Met. This is how they do things. Which of those teams do you think has a shot?
I think if the Mariners are able to get a big bat in that lineup, I think they have a really good shot. I would say the Padres do too, but with what's going on with their ownership situation right now, like, who knows how long this team is going to be able to field a competitive payroll like that. It are days like of Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis number. They already want to get rid of Cease and King and Rise this offseason. They've already want to cut payroll. So because of that, I can't willingly trust the Padres. So if the Mariners can get that big bat with their young pitching staff, which is the best in baseball, they definitely have the best shot at getting it first.
Like, I can't remember who I was talking to one of these, and Kevin, I'll go to you next. But I was talking, like, if you're that close to winning one, and like this is how ridiculous it sounds. Like, when you're talking $20 million, I'm sure all of us would take it. Like, but when and it's only 20, like with baseball, when you're only talking 20 million, and if that's the difference between winning and losing, Kevin, wouldn't that be something you would say, like, yeah, do it? Because after you win one, you have a 7-year grace period after you get that done to say, yeah, we did it and good enough.
That's absolutely true, because I live in Dallas area, so I could see that happening right here, because the Rangers got that monkey off their back. And so, and the same thing with the Mavericks. They won 14 years ago, and people are still living off of that. So I totally agree with that. The thing about the Mariners, when we talk about them getting a big bat, I have to wonder, how come they have not already done that? I don't understand how they can have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. It's the best pitching staff in baseball. But they don't. They have like 2 hitters in their lineup, and that's all they have. And so I've been to Seattle. I like their ballpark. It's a great place to go watch a baseball game. But they just won't go out and do what they have to do to bring competitive baseball up there. So Tampa, as Vince said, they're on their way out. And so I don't really see any of these teams winning a World Series anytime soon. And the Padres could be they're the best team, I think, out of this, but they're the 3rd place team in their division. So all these guys, they're just free floating down the river. I don't see any of them winning anytime soon.
The Matt and Eric, we'll get you guys in half a second here, talking about like the being a Yankee fan, I mean, it's you get all the slings and arrows and everything else, and the way it goes, because the ownership group in general goes out and say we need a player. They go out and try to find a way to get him. And there's some other teams that do that too as well. The Dodgers obviously do it, and then when a team's kicking around like with the Yankees, Matt, we'll go with you. It is a bit refreshing when your ownership group is committed to trying. On paper, it looks like they are. There's some things that we can discuss another day. But what would you say to a Mariners fan or a Padres fan who just haven't got it done, and or a Brewers fan? Like years ago when CC almost brought them out of honestly up to the promised land before he went to the Yankees. What would you say to a Mariners fan or a Padres fan or a Brewers fan? Hey, like it's going to be okay, or like this ain't gonna happen, man. It's hard.
Well, I would say to a Mariners and a Brewers fan, I would probably say hang tight. I think the future could be bright for you guys. Like we were saying, I mean, the Brewers, I think, are a very underrated, scrappy team. I think like he was saying before, Vince was saying, I think they're maybe a year or so away from doing some serious damage, but I think they're on their way. Mariners have a great pitching staff. They got a couple bats. They need some more. I would tell them, hey, you're in a pretty good spot right now, but you need to talk to your ownership. You need to talk to your general manager. You got to make some moves. Like, you got to be serious, because your window could be closing by the time maybe they start to take it seriously. The Rockies and the Tampa Bay, I would probably say you should probably look into a different team. I don't think it's ever going to happen, especially with the Rays. By the time all these teams win a World Series, they're still going to be looking on how they can win a World Series with only a $25,000 payroll. But future is bright for San Diego. That would be my pick to win it first. I like their rotation and their roster. I just think the window's closing on them.
Eric, you got thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. I think I think right now the Brewers, I mean, I wouldn't count them out. I mean, I counted them out last year after Craig Counsell left, but obviously I was wrong and Pat Murphy got manager of the year, so I wouldn't rule them out because they've got a way of surprising. And then also San Diego, I think right now they have a chance, but it's not like, but obviously that window is starting to close a little bit. I mean, the Rockies, it feels like since their inception, they've been falling on their face for years, with the exception of 2007. I think that the Mariners, I mean, gosh, get yourself a bat or two, man. You got yourself a bunch of 5 number ones in your rotation, which all of them could very well win a Cy Young award if the votes really went that direction. But overall though, right now, I just, San Diego probably has the best chance out of all of them. The Rays, I mean, if you would have told me back in 2023, I would have said, yeah, for sure. But obviously, things have gone south since then, and they seem to be very punchless offensively. And yeah, so odds, but this year I don't see it happening. I mean, it's just, they just don't have those kinds of teams this year. I mean, San Diego has some question marks with their pitching staff at the moment. I mean, yeah, they got Pivetta, but what kind of Nick Pivetta are we getting? Are we getting the one that gets Red Sox fans know gets chased after a couple innings, or are we getting the one where he's this big strikeout arm who's mowing down guys left and right?
The funny thing about baseball is like everybody has their predictions of who's going to win and who's going to surprise and everything else, and it kind of makes me laugh. There's never any negativity when it comes to opening day, because opening day is always everybody's got a chance. Everybody starts off 0-0, and everybody's going to be fine. It's going to be fun. Oh, it's good, no problems at all. But in all realism, there's going to be teams that are going to, for lack of a better term, they're going to piss off their fan base. Jared, what team is guaranteed, Mets, to guarantee this year to really just disappoint their fan base? That would because everybody has a shot right now. Yeah. Like even the Cubs are 0-2. They're there thinking, you know what, we'll get the friendly confines. We're going to win. And they're not. Who's going to be what team's going to really get their fan base riled up often and early and carry on throughout the season?
As much as I'd like to take another shrapnel shot the Mets for throwing the last game of the season last year, I will throw one at their NL East counterparts, the Miami Marlins. They did not spend $1 this offseason. If they did it off books. They are trying to tell me that Sandy Alcantara is still an ace. I would love to see that again because when he was on, he was incredible. I can't even tell you half the guys on that roster. I'd have to literally ask Siri who's on the Miami Marlins roster, and I think she's searching for it for me right now by mistake. Either way, they did not spend $1. They got worse. They let guys walk. I could see them maybe winning. They're not gonna be as bad as the White Sox last year, but they're gonna get close. Like we're gonna be counting down in September. Are they gonna lose as many games as they're like? What they're gonna be like 119, 118 for losses. That bad.
That's a lot. Brian, I'm going to get you to defend yourself. Are your Mets going to be the big disappointment, or what team's gonna outdo the Mets?
No, we're not going to be the big disappointment. We're going to surprise a lot of people. I promise you that right now. We're going to surprise a lot of people. It's actually the Stephen Cohen effect is going to take form this year. But the team that is going to surprise a lot of people, I think, is the Baltimore Orioles. Like, this is a team that has a nice young core of hitters around it. But last year, that core kind of fell apart towards the end. They stopped hitting in the months of August and September and, kind of went off with a whimper against the Royals. And then they don't add a single frontline starting pitcher to that rotation. I think Zach Eflin's going to be their ace. So I think the Orioles are going to be a good
Charlie
team.
Morton.
Oh, that's even better. So I think the Orioles are going to still be good, but I think they could really miss the playoffs, and that would really take off their fan base.
Matt?
Oh, man, it's going to be another American League East team, but it's going to be Toronto. We talked about it a little bit there. I'm not really sure what they're doing other than disappointing their fan base, but it's a team that is likely going to trade, or they're going to let Vlad Jr. walk at the end of this year, their best player on their team. I know they got rid of Cavan Biggio already. I'm not really a huge fan of their rotation. They let Kikuchi go. Max Scherzer on his last leg is into that rotation now. Manoah has just been awful since that pitch clock's come in. Bullpen's weak, and I think it's just a team that's going to be competitive for fourth place in this division. And I feel bad for that fan base. I just don't see them shocking the world this year.
No, they won't. It's another. And the thing about with Toronto is that when it's good, we talked about it last week. Like when they're rolling, this country gets behind it from coast to coast. But when they're bad, it's over quick. People start thinking about the Maple Leafs come June and July. It's weird how that goes. Kevin, who's going to disappoint their fan base the most?
Well, the team that's set up to disappoint their fan base the most is, in fact, my team, the Dodgers. Let's face it, if they don't win, it's a disappointment. But if the question is who's guaranteed to disappoint their fan base, I'm going to go with the Padres because I've been to that stadium, both stadiums, as a matter of fact, and they have a very, very loyal fan base. They come out, they watch their games, they get 40,000 people there every single game. And they go on a little winning streak, and the Dodgers show up and slap them around like they're, a little redheaded stepchild. And then they go away disappointed each and every single season. And you can I'll guarantee it right now, if they make because they're the third place team in that division, the three teams could make it in the NL West. But they'll get in the playoffs, and then they'll find a way to, fall over their own feet, and they will not win, and their fans will be crushed.
What is like when you're used to losing? I mean, nobody gets used to losing. I would hope.
Unless you're the Rockies.
Like you still want your team to win a little bit. Is it a disappointment, or you're like, well, this is what it is? Vince, what's your thoughts on that?
All right, so it's a perfect transition, Brent, because there's a fan base that should be used to losing, and yet every year they think they're going to be a World Series champ, and yet pretty much almost every single year of their existence, they have not been a World Series champ, and they're just setting themselves up for disappointment every year, and it's the Chicago Cubs. I mean, this organization.
I like how you wormed that one in there, Vince. That's good.
I knew it the second you said it.
They upset the baseball gods 2 years ago, last year, when they went out and they got Craig Counsell to leave his hometown team that he played for, and they stole him away. And the baseball gods said, listen, we're not going to allow this to happen. And so what we're going to watch this year is Craig Counsell ruin Kyle Tucker's career And the whole fan base is going to be so disappointed that they went out and made this trade for Kyle Tucker, and he's had his worst season of his entire career. So most disappointed fan base should be one that's used to it, but man, they're just not. The Chicago Cubs.
The lovable loser should have just stayed that way, right? You get that one, and then they get a little bit greedy.
Yep.
It's funny. Eric, who do you got?
I'd probably say the team that I think is going to disappoint this year is the Houston Astros. And here's why. Because number one, they let Bregman go. They traded Kyle Tucker. I'm not sure who in the world thought it was a great idea to move a career second baseman, Jose Altuve, into the outfield where he's dropping balls like they're hot potatoes. I think you put Cam Smith out there, who's a rookie who came up as an infielder, not an outfielder, an infielder who's had no action in the outfield, I believe, in the minor leagues. Plus, their pitching is kind of shaky. As you saw last year, Josh Hader, I think, is exiting the prime of his career there. And they made him one of the highest paid closers in the league, and I think they're regretting it. Also, I think that in that division, the Rangers, I think on paper are stronger. I think I just think that the run's over for Houston. Jim Crane's got the stupid rule that he won't give out longer than 5-year contracts, and baseball doesn't work like that anymore. If you want to play in the free agent market, unless you want to get relievers for that kind of money or a player who is past his prime, you gotta shell out some more years, man. But I could very well see the Houston Astros falling right off this year.
I think it's the Mets. I just think it's the Mets. I just think that they're setting themselves up for disaster.
That's what they do.
They're the Mets. Brian, I'm sorry. The correct answer is the Mets.
They angered the baseball gods last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
You don't throw a game.
See.
$765 million
Just to get 61.
Wow. Anyways, we'll take a little break here, get a little word from our friends over there at SeatGeek.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the ticket.
There it is, the Belly Up Sports. I lost my power.
Well, we still got it. Belly Up Sports, baseball super show presented by SeatGeek.
I got a little problem with my audio tonight, fellas. Sorry about that. Since the technical problems are temporary, please do not adjust your sets. Anyways, there it is, SeatGeek. Use promo code Belly Up at checkout. The 2025 Belly Up Sports Major League Baseball Super Show. Vince from the Sports Stove, Jared and Matt from the corner booth, Eric writer from Belly Up Sports, Brian with 1,000 things going on at Belly Up Sports, and Kevin, senior writer for the fantasy side of things. Boys, we've already heard that the next World Series champion, our guests, are already the Arizona Diamondbacks. So might as well start with you, Jared. Did your team do enough to do it to get it done?
I would have loved for them to get one more arm in the bullpen. Like the fact they lost out on Tanner Scott to those guys over in LA kind of sucks. But I do like the fact that they finally let go of their weird obsession with Paul Sewald. They actually brought more bats into the lineup. I think the Josh Naylor acquisition is going to go down as one of the best ones of the season. And listen, they got rid of Jordan. Now that Jordan Montgomery's going in for Tommy John surgery, the monkey's off their back and out of their bullpen. They're probably going to have a good season this year. I think they did enough. It's just a matter of staying healthy. That's really what it comes down to. That's the ultimate test. So we'll see. But it looks like they did enough on paper this offseason.
Matt, we'll go to your corner booth. We'll follow him up there. What team did the most, and what can happen?
Yankees wise, I like how they pivoted after losing Soto with acquiring the talent that they acquired. I would have been inclined to probably say I think the Yankees did enough to get back there. However, with the injuries going on with Cole, with everybody we just listened to, it's tough to say they did enough right now, I think, to get back. But I will say the National League has most of the talent. The American League, in my opinion, is wide open. for a team to represent them in the World Series. I think it is a wide open, clean slate for anybody that wants to take it on. I will say I love the Devin Williams move. I love the Bellinger trade. I love the Fried signing, obviously. So I think in time, once Schmidt and Gill come back from injury and this pitching gets back on track, I think the Yankees will have enough to at least to fight to get back there. But I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be the Dodgers are going to be back in there. I think it's going to be really tough to beat this current team.
Vince, you say like a lot of teams, it's funny. They do this, they do that, they make a move here, and you're still always one injury away, especially the Dodgers, from having a complete disaster. What team did a little bit this year that can maybe stray away from that might surprise a few people?
I mean, we talk about surprising people. I think you go Detroit as an option. Young talent, solid pitching core, good bullpen. If everything comes together for them, they're a team that could definitely surprise people. And I go back to Atlanta. I know that's not a massive surprise, but Riley have a bounce back season. Albies back to it. Once Acuna's back healthy, their pitching rotation is surprisingly good too. So I think, to me, Atlanta's the team to watch. If I was going to just play around and gamble something, I'd throw it on the Diamondbacks. But if I had to make a serious pick that wasn't the Dodgers, it would be Atlanta.
Brian, Atlanta, the thing about Atlanta, they got the Anthopoulos. Remember back in the Toronto days, he wasn't afraid to make a bunch of moves, and that was some pretty tight purse strings back then that they went and did it. So Anthopoulos might be the guy that might be to make those kind of deals. Who's your thoughts? Who did the most to improve their team, you think?
I think the Red Sox did a really nice job improving their team. I love the trade for Garrett Crochet. I think that gives them a bona fide ace in that rotation. And I love the move for Alex Bregman. His leadership alone, what he's doing with the young prospects. He's riding the bus with them to spring training games. That's unheard of for a veteran to do. With this young core they have coming up, they have 3 prospects in the top 15 on pipeline. Having a guy like Bregman in that clubhouse to introduce these guys to what big league life is, that's going to be a lot of help for them. And then what Bregman brings alone to the table is going to really help that team. So I think the Red Sox are a sneaky dark horse this year.
Yeah, they're really good. They made some moves there right there. Kevin, who you got?
Well, if the Dodgers had signed another player, I think everybody's heads would have just simply exploded. And so just about every free agent, it seemed like, they got. And everybody was complaining and jumping up and down and losing their minds. But when it comes to a guy like Blake Snell, the Giants didn't even make him an offer. So the Dodgers did. When it comes to guys like Kirby Yates, he was on the free agent market for months. Nobody signed him. Tanner Scott, he was on the free agent market for months. Nobody signed him. So the Dodgers said, oh, you know what? We're going to improve our team. The Dodgers won last year, but their pitching was clearly their issue, injuries and everything else. So they just went out and reinforced that rotation. So there's nothing else the Dodgers could have done except for maybe finding, some kind of life form from outside our universe. And so the Dodgers did everything they possibly could and more, and it upset a lot of people, which brought me a lot of chuckles. I'll just say it that way, because everybody was so upset, but other teams didn't do what they could have, and that's their problem, not the Dodgers.
Eric, who did the most? Who do you think did a lot to try to get over the hump? Whether they get over the hump or not is another question, but they said, okay, then the fan base might be, hey, we got a shot this year at doing something. Who did the most this year?
The Kansas City Royals. I don't think we're talking enough about the Royals. I mean, you got Bobby Witt Jr. is back for his second year. I mean, what a stud. The guy seemingly turned around the Royals overnight over there. Their rotation, with Cole Reagans up top, as well as Seth Lugo, and I think Michael Wacha still got some gas left in the tank. They also got Michael Lorenzen, who is terrific. Their bullpen is much improved with bringing in Carlos Estevez, and also Lucas Ursig was great for them down the stretch. And they also acquired Jonathan India, a perfect leadoff hitter for them. I think that the Royals are just, we're not talking enough about them, and they're gonna be sneaky good. They're no longer the Royals team of the past where you could just walk into walk into their stadium and just you could just stand there the whole time and you'd probably win a game. Now this team is for real, especially when you got a guy at shortstop who's a once in a gen talent and he is the living definition of a once in a generation talent who literally can do it all. Where if someone slaps a double to the wall and he's at first base, he's going to score. He is that good. I think that the Royals, we're not talking enough about him, and don't be surprised if they come in there and wrap the Central up and they make a lot of noise come October.
Before we came on the air, the big news of I don't know why this is news, but it's news that Russell Wilson is the new quarterback for the Giants. How that's news is a bit of a mystery to me, especially 2 days before opening day and in Major League Baseball. And it's obviously the NFL's king. We aren't going to dispute that. It's kind of, I don't want to go as far as saying disturbing, but it's a bit disturbing, I guess I'll just use that term, that football will take a front seat no matter what with the news of Russell Wilson, of all things, like I said. But we'll start with you, Vince. Notwithstanding football, obviously, like I said, it's king. Is baseball in a good spot, or is it just going to be I don't want to say it's a fringe sport, but is it kind of turning into, is it a good spot? Let's go there.
Okay, that's a hard one to answer, actually, I think, Brent, because I think baseball is in a perfect spot. I just think that Major League Baseball is going to fumble it. They've got superstars on both coasts. They've got really solid teams in the heart of America where baseball is, people are passionate about it. There's young superstars, like guys that are coming up that everyone knows about that are coming up. And, baseball's at a perfect spot, but Major League Baseball is going to fumble it. They're going to do something stupid. They're going to, not get it aired. They need to get rid of the stupid blackout stuff. They need to get it on national television more regularly. They need to make it more accessible in as many ways as possible. That being said, the competition isn't the same, because once you get outside the NFL, you can argue with me all you want. No other sport is doing much to step up. Hockey's not, the NHL isn't, NBA isn't. College football is like the next thing, I think. And now that it's turning into more of a professional sport than ever before, too. At the end of the day, baseball's in a perfect spot. I just don't think that the organization, that Major League Baseball, is going to capitalize on the situation that it has in front of them.
We'll go to a little younger demographic. Go to you, Brian, here. You don't see many young. I'll include you in the group with us older guys here a little bit of baseball dorks. You don't see them much around. I work in a baseball facility, and they watch and that, but they're not invested. You ask them to name 10 players, they'd be like, I just play baseball. What's your thoughts about, is baseball in a good spot, or is it a fringe, or where's it at?
I think baseball's in a good spot. And like regionality, like we see cities like, New York, Philly, Boston, they also have that big love of baseball. Nationally, it's kind of becoming a fringe sport, but they have this golden opportunity here because of every sport, whether it be football, basketball, hockey, or baseball. The sport that translates best to like the TikTok screen is baseball, because all you need to see is the batter and the pitcher, and you can do that easily on TikTok. With basketball, you kind of need to see the whole court, which is hard to do on a small phone screen. Same thing with hockey. Football, you didn't know where everybody is. You can't get that on a small phone screen. Baseball is the one sport where you can watch it on a TikTok screen or see a highlight and know everything that's going on in the field. So if MLB's smart, they do all those social media and try to get as much following on TikTok as possible.
The thing about I agree to an extent, but the thing about that, and that's the problem, like you got to watch the game. In the baseball, like with hockey or in football, it's just go, right? Where baseball, it's a thinking man's sport. You sit back, relax, and watch it a little bit, right? And it's not action now, scrolling through. You got to, like, things can happen. Like a lot of times, nothing happens, and so that's why I think it's kind of missing a little bit. Jared, what's your thoughts on that?
The biggest thing with me is the MLB, I think, is in the best spot possible. I agree with Vince there. They're never going to catch the NFL. Let's be honest. Unless the NFL fumbles something into the the top part, they will control the sports media. College football has its own intrinsic level of fans and its rooted structure in this society because it is a football sport. But baseball has the best opportunity because the NBA has fumbled the bag so hard. the last decade. They have found a way to screw up everything. Adam Silver honestly should be put up on war crimes for what he's done to that league's media development. But baseball, like you said, Vince, has a problem. There is talk of salary caps at the next labor agreement. There's a bunch of other things happening. I think they have to make sure, Kevin, I appreciate the Dodgers exploiting capitalism to its T and spending money that the Yankees did when I was a kid. And the same thing with the Uncle Steve and the Mets. They have to understand if they make it only big market teams, it does kill the sport and everywhere else but big markets. A balance between small markets and big markets is what makes the sport unique and what makes it fun. That it leads to parity, which leads to more people watching, which leads to obviously more viewership and it being more of a going from niche to established again, like it was as America's pastime when Brent, you, Vince, and Kevin were growing up.
Yeah, a few years back. Yeah.
Making it sound like we were around when Christopher Columbus sailed.
Oh hell, man!
You're not me, but yeah. Well, like you talked earlier about the college football events and how it's a big thing. And college baseball's got like the SEC, obviously, it's huge. But in general, it's you have some people watching, and it's not the biggest thing. Kevin, what does Major League Baseball have to reach out somehow? Because it's like with college football, like you're alluding to, it's regional, and you get your teams, they follow it no matter what. Does Major League Baseball or the baseball community in general, they got to start finding a way to tap into college baseball, get people interested? Finding a way to tap into minor league games a little bit more, so people can watch it a little bit more. Because in general, when people start watching baseball, they tend to kind of like it. What can be done a little bit, Kevin, to get baseball into that next spot to maybe get in, not NFL level, we've established that, but just to get more relevant?
Well, it would be nice because here in Texas, okay, the Rangers won the World Series not too long ago, but you had to struggle to find a place. Where are they on TV? Okay. And they just came through this. And as the season's getting ready to start, at this moment, I don't know where the Texas Rangers are, playing, where they can be found. I'll find out, but that's part of the problem right there. You shouldn't have to find out because, when it comes to like college football, and they're on FS1 and they're on 7,000 different channels that you can find. Baseball needs to come up with something like that, like you're saying, like the minor leagues and the Sugar Crawdads and every other team that's out there, have all these weird names. And, that would get somebody interested in some of this stuff, but you have to be able to find it. So they need to do a much better job of being able to, the average fan, you shouldn't have to go to MLB Network and watch whatever game they put on. You should be able to watch a game just because you go to your TV guide or whatever it is. Okay, bam, there it is, and watch a game. If you can do that, things would be great. And so I like watching baseball. It's one of the things that I really get a lot of enjoyment out of. So just make it accessible to people that aren't like me, that's, because I'm going to watch baseball. That's just all there is to it. Just get it out there to guys that don't have that attitude, get them swooped in. Then we've got something really going on.
Matt, Brian was alluding to the TikTok generation and everything else. And we all get a little bit addicted to the bloody phones in our hands all the time and everything. But the Savannah Bananas have kind of changed the way things have gone with the game of baseball and viewing the game, brought in a different viewership. Do they hurt? Do they help? Do they bring eyeballs, the right eyeballs? What's your thoughts on the Bananas and what they've done with the game of baseball? Like it's not baseball, but it is. Is it good for baseball? Bad for baseball? Like, what's your thoughts?
I think it's beneficial for baseball. I think it targets a lot of the younger audience and kind of gets them interested into the at least the Savannah Bananas. I mean, I guess you could say it's like the Harlem Globetrotters version of baseball. So I think it attracts a younger audience, which I think the younger audience is what is probably the least active in baseball. And the biggest complaint that I hear from people that aren't really big into baseball, whether they're my age or younger, that it's too boring. It's too long, this and that. And one thing that I love that the baseball has done to kind of separate themselves and maybe increase their image is the play clock is really shortened the games a lot. You go from having a 3-hour baseball game to maybe having a 2-hour and 20-minute game. It really speeds the process up, and I think it attracts a lot of viewers knowing that a baseball game is now shorter than a football game. But I love what they're doing. I think they're the clear as day number 2 sports league in the country right now behind the NFL. I love what they're doing with the All-Star game. I love what they do with the Home Run Derby, with the analytics and the StatCast programs and everything that they're doing. So I think they're in a perfect spot right now, and I think they're the clear day, strong number 2 league in this country right now, sports-wise.
Eric, you're the old guy of the young guys in this group. What's your thoughts on the state of baseball and just how it's progressing? Can it go any further, or are they plateaued, or where it's at?
I think it's in a great spot. I wish they would do more to kind of take advantage of the NBA's fall from grace. I think that overall, though, right now, though, I mean, my concern is over the crisis of RSN, which that's still a very much an ongoing issue in baseball now, where we're seeing teams in need of a television. We're starting to see these regional cable networks, with the exception, unless your name is NBC, you're in trouble. We're seeing them kind of start to go through the same things that Blockbuster went through when Netflix came and swallowed them whole. I think that overall, though, that baseball has an opportunity to really become the number 2 sport. I mean, let's face it, the NFL is the NFL. I mean, it's always going to be number 1. It's been number 1 it's been number 1 for years, and good luck slaying that giant, because it's probably not going to happen. Too much money, too much merchandise, and too many viewers. But the thing is, baseball is not readily available like the NFL is. I mean, you can count on a game being on cable on Fox and CBS every Sunday, and Monday Night Football on ESPN. You can count on that happening. You don't have to look for that. That's just right there. It's probably going to be on the cover of something of whatever it is you're trying to watch that night. It's probably going to be the first thing that pops up. But baseball needs to be a little more available. Forget the blackouts. I've never understood them. I should be allowed to watch whatever team is in my home state anytime I feel like it. If it's, so for example, if I'm in Miami, Florida, and I want to watch the Marlins take on the Nationals, I want to watch it. It's my best. It's the best thing to do. Go home, put the feet up on the recliner, and watch baseball. It's great. But overall, though, especially with what we're hearing, guys, with the whispers of a lockout. I mean, I hate to use that word, but from what they're saying, it's the alarm bells are starting to go off a little bit after the 2026 season. We got a new CBA, and let me tell you, the waters between the Players Association and the owners couldn't be more rougher. And this one might actually be the worst, because this one isn't just your standard millionaires versus the billionaires. This one is owners versus players. The owners don't even know what they want. I'm not even sure the players know what they want either. So knowing Rob Manfred, who everything he touches seems to fall apart, I'd be concerned about him completely jacking up the momentum that baseball already has created.
Yeah, it's definitely a bad situation that you hope it doesn't get to, but it's probably going to. Jared, you got to get out of here. We'll get you before you take off. I know what you're gonna say, but I mean, might as well let everybody else hear it. Who wins the World Series, man?
I never make a World Series prediction until May, but I guess I'll say go Snakes. Snakes alive, baby. Let's do this.
Until May, you really hold off, eh?
You give me to one sport. I'll make a prediction until May. Everything else, I'll do a preseason prediction. Baseball's weird. It's a marathon, man. You never pick a guy too early in the race. Honestly, if you put a gun to my head right now, I would tell you the Philadelphia Phillies. But that is honestly who I'd say. But Diamondbacks are what my heart tells me. So
there you go, Jared. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. You go out and do whatever you're doing. Behave.
That's right.
I can't even drink right now. I literally have lidocaine in my system still. So
whatever. There's other problems. If you behave, you're getting the stern finger wagging right off the bat.
All right. Hey, Matt, make sure you give us a plug before you get off. All right.
There it is. There's Jared from the Corner Booth podcast, one of the best the Belly Up has to offer. Guys, I got a quick question here. Everybody has all the solutions all the time. No matter what, we're always, no matter what room you're in, you're the smartest guy in that room. I have my ideas how I would change the game of baseball. I want to hear each of yours. Brian, we'll start with you. What would you do to you get one shot? What are you doing to change the game of baseball?
I think
make it better, not the Mets to win, to make the game.
Well, delete all 29 teams so the Mets keep winning. But no, I think I would add the ABS challenge system full time. I think it's the best of both worlds. I think you get, the old school fans still happy because the umpire is still calling the game, but like the new school fan is, they're not going to be upset if a blown call costs the game because you have the opportunity to challenge it, or if you blew your challenge earlier in the game, hey, that's just bad strategy on you and the Mariners and the manager. Sorry, the Marlins popped up as I said that.
There's been a lot of changes in just in the last 5-10 years. Obviously, Kevin, what's one that you would add to that list?
The thing that really gets my goat when it comes to baseball is this idea that we have to have a player to go out to second base when we're starting extra innings. That has never made sense to me. So you put a guy on second, you bunt him over to third, and then they get him home. So then the team next comes out, put a guy at second, you bunt him over to third, he comes home, you're still tied. I think that's too radical of a change. That's unnecessary. So throw that rule out. There was a lot of things that I was against, like when we were talking about, we're gonna have to make sure that we don't have all the fielders on one side. Okay, the idea was just hit the ball the other way. Okay, but all these other changes seem to be helping the game of baseball, speeding things up. People are like, well, you speed things up, we won't have as much action. Yes, you will. You'll have the exact same amount of action, but it just takes a shorter time to get it all done. So all the changes I'm pretty come around on. Even the DH, which I was against for years and years and years, but I've been beaten into submission when it comes to that. So all they need to do is get rid of this ignorant runner at second, and I'm good.
You should write a letter.
I could do that.
You should write a letter. I don't even know if I have a stamp in this house, but whatever.
I got some stamps right here. I can get it done.
We have that rule in WCBL up here, and it's just a bunt contest when it comes down to it. After that, I'm not a big fan of it, but what do you do? It's they say it speeds it up, but I don't think it does. It makes it for a bunt contest. Matt, what's one thing you would change if you were given the reins for a day?
Well, I got to piggyback off what Kevin was saying because I wrote when I was reviewing some things, and that was the first thing I wrote down. I wrote down it in caps. I put stars next to it. I had an asterisk with it. I was circled it. I can't stand the extra man on base and extra innings. Like you guys were saying, I don't see how it's really beneficial to speeding up the game because, like you said, all you got to do is knock down a bunt, move the guy to third, get the sacrifice out at first, hit a sac fly, get the run in, and boom. 2 outs, you already got the lead, and then the next inning, you just showed the blueprint on how to do it again, and then the other team just does it. It's just a back-and-forth thing. It drives me crazy. I think that's the one thing that they changed about baseball that I'm not really a big fan of. So for me, get rid of the extra man and extra innings on base and just play the game how it's supposed to be when you go past the ninth.
Eric?
I mean, I'd have to go back to the runner on second rule, although I get why they're trying to speed it up, although, I'd probably move over to first base. That way we kind of get a happy middle there. The pitcher is not at a competitive disadvantage. I mean, I get why they had it, which was during the pandemic to get the guys off the field a little faster. I get it. But really, I think it puts the pitcher at a competitive disadvantage. It's just unentertaining baseball. And really, it's just, if you want to still have it though, but put the guy in at first. That way everyone kind of the playing field's kind of even there where the pitcher's not feeling the extra pressure with the runner on second base, and also the offense at least has something to work with.
What's wrong with just playing the game? Where are they going? They all fly charters. What's wrong with just playing the game, Vince? What am I missing here?
Gen Z.
They're not going anywhere. And if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to turn the TV off, go to bed. We'll just play the game. What's the worst? Oh, their arms are worth $1 billion. Yeah, but then win the game in the ninth. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? I don't know.
I like the runner on second. I'm the only one that does. But
I
here's
don't
why.
mind it, for being honest.
Here's
I really
why.
don't mind it.
So you get a guy that scores in the top of the inning, right? Top of the 10th. It's like if we go back to football, if a team in overtime kicks a field goal, now all the anticipation is, okay, yes, they're going to be able to go down and score 3, and we might have second overtime. Or are they going to score the touchdown and win the game? In baseball, you know the guy's going to score from second in the top of the inning. And you know the guy's going to score from second in the bottom of the inning, but is the team going to be able to drive through that second run? It's a gimmick, yes. It's just something to pull people in a little bit. I would change 0 on-field things right now in Major League Baseball. There's other things.
That's
Let
right
the guys bat flip and don't get beamed for it. Get rid of all the unwritten rules, all that good stuff. But on-field rules, I love every one of them. And let's just keep it the way it is, and let's keep playing.
Ryan, I got to hear yours.
Well, why I like it? I compare it with like a shootout in regular season hockey. And I know that's controversial too, but it's a way to just kind of speed up a regular season game and, limit injuries. How many times have we seen these 18 games and the next day neither team can throw a guy out there because everyone's arm is shot? It prevents injuries. In a world where we're trying to prevent a pitcher injury as much as possible, doing stuff like that helps save their arms.
I get a kick out of the shootout in hockey because they just play another 5 minutes for the same amount of time the shootout takes.
It would be. It really would be.
It drives me nuts, but it's just one of those. It's just one of those things. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. We'll do 3 easy questions. Get to some predictions, and Caller and I ready to go.
Ready.
You can't get them wrong, Brian. You can't get these wrong.
Oh,
real
good.
Simple. Well, you got that hat on, so it could be one of those things. Actually, Matt, we'll start with you. Best part of a live game?
Oh man, for me, going to a Jets, Yankees game, the bleacher creatures doing the chants, the player chants at the beginning of the game. It just gives me goosebumps. It just means baseball's back. I love it. Bleacher creatures.
Vince?
To me, it's the food and I'm a church guy, the fellowship. The best thing about a baseball game is you can sit there and talk with your friends and not miss anything. It's a relaxing, sit back and enjoy the game atmosphere. So for me, it's enjoy a hot dog, enjoy some nachos, sip on a soda, and put my arm around my wife and enjoy the baseball game.
That's a good answer. Eric?
Oh boy, it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick though. That's the thing, because you could pick many things and you can't go wrong. But man, I'd probably say just the action on the field. That you get to hang out with your friends, and especially in between innings, get a few words in there here and there. Man, it's just a great time. It's a great couple hours to kind of escape for a little bit. Whatever, doesn't matter the ballpark for me, man. Hot dog and a beer, and I'm in.
Right.
It's just a camaraderie of going with your friends to a baseball game, watching 9 innings, just kind of feeling like a kid again.
That's we'll get to you again, Kevin, in a second here, but yeah, it's just it's fairly relaxed. Eh? Football's so intense and hockey's so intense. And well, basketball, I don't know what that is anymore, but baseball's just so relaxing. Kevin,
one of the things that I really enjoy when I go to a game, the Red Sox are getting ready to play the Rangers out here a couple of days from now. And so let's say you're in the stands and they start off. Well, the starting lineup for the Boston Red Sox, batting leadoff. And I always have my score sheet, and I sit there and I write down the number, the player, the position he's playing, and then the starting lineup for your Texas Rangers, batting leadoff. And you write all that down because there could be history made in this game. You don't know. So I'm all into that, and it really gets me going when I hear that starting lineups being announced, because baseball is getting ready to start.
there you go. It's all those things are fantastic. For me, when I first roll into a field, not my first time, I always go to the field first and see the green grass and how perfect it always is. That's the one that kind of gets it for me. It's like this. It's just a little bit of heaven. You're there for a couple, 3 hours, and it's amazing. You get in these concrete jungles, and out of nowhere, there's the greenest grass you'll ever see. And I geek out on that kind of stuff a little bit. Favorite player ever, Brian? Start with you.
Carlos Beltran, surprisingly enough.
My man Beltran. I got a baseball from Carlos Beltran.
Really?
Yeah, he threw it right to me. I reached in front of a kid and grabbed it. I kept it. It's right over there, actually. Matt, favorite player ever?
He may be the only catcher in history to have 10 World Series rings. That's Yogi Berra.
There you go. Eric?
I mean, Albert Pujols. I mean, the last guy, probably the last guy for a while who's going to be hitting 700 home runs, and he's Hall of Famer through and through, and yeah.
It's like Pujols played in a bunch of teams that didn't do a lot. Is he overrated, underrated, or properly rated? Like, where? Vince, I'm going to ask you that first, and then we'll get to your favorite player. But is Pujols just there? Like, he was around, but those numbers are unbelievable. But he was just around.
Yeah, he hurt his legacy. If you were there for the St. Louis days, amazing. Yeah, properly rated. I wish he would have. I wish he would have retired earlier for him.
Yeah, because he was just around out there. Who favorite player, Vince?
Surprisingly, even as a Brewers fan, my mom was a Reds fan growing up, so I heard more and watched more of them. And so, favorite player was Barry Larkin.
Oh man, he was good. Oh, he was so good. That with the high top Nike cleats. Oh yeah, it was stylish too. Kevin.
My favorite player, not surprisingly, is the Dodger, but maybe surprising that he's the guy I'm gonna go with, and that is the National League's Iron Man, that's Steve Garvey, over there at first base, and he could have gave a run for the money for the most games ever played consecutively, but he broke his thumb at a play at the plate, and that stopped his consecutive games streak. So. But I always liked him when I was growing up because he was always there and he was always right, bringing the Dodgers right to the brink until they finally, cashed it in 1981. So Steve Garvey has always been my favorite player.
A little more time at the ballpark instead of extracurricular activities, but that's another story for another day. Last one, obviously, going to settle the great hot dog debate of all time. Vince, start with you. Go right around the horn. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No. Do you need an explanation?
I kind of do.
It does not naturally fit on a hamburger bun. Anything that naturally fits on a hamburger bun is a sandwich. Anything else is not. Hot dog, bratwurst, not a sandwich.
It's very scientific, Kevin.
It's not a sandwich, and hot dog. You talk about a hamburger bun, but it doesn't go on bread or any of that stuff. So no, absolutely not a sandwich.
Unbelievable, Brian.
Not a sandwich. It's its own thing. I don't know what it is,
That's
but
right.
It's its own separate category.
Matt, speak some.
Oh, it is definitely a sandwich. Listen, if you got the whole hamburger thing, you just cut the hot dog in half and put the two sides on the hamburger bun. Boom, magically it fits. It's a handheld. It's between bread. You put some condiments on it. It's a sandwich.
Like if the hot dog bun breaks in half, you have a hamburger bun, do you not? So that's
if you break the hot dog in half, you have two sandwiches. You now have two slider sandwiches if you break the hot dog in half.
Eric, will go to you.
No, it's not. It's not like you're going to go to the store and go buy Wonder Bread and put a hot dog in between it. You got it.
Please don't do that.
You've got it. It's its own. It's its own thing, as we've explained. I mean, I guess you could compare it to a sub, more similar to a sub, considering like the type of bread it uses. But it is a piece of meat in between two, essentially what amounts to just
it's called a submarine sandwich.
Yeah. No, it is not a sandwich. It is its own thing. That's all we're going to call it.
Own category. That's right, Eric.
We're not buying Wonder Bread to put the hot dog in there.
There's Ryan from no credential required. He says, "Who cares? It's delicious." I agree. Going to a ballpark, getting a hot dog. It's one of the simple things in life. We'll start with you, Vince. We'll get to some predictions. Who you got winning the world? Actually, two teams: National League, American League, and who wins the whole thing?
Give me Atlanta over Detroit this year.
Wow, that's deep. No, I like it. Like I that's something different. There'll be 12 people watching, but that's fine. It's one of those things. Kevin, who you got?
Well, no surprise. I've got the Dodgers winning the World Series, and the American League, it's really kind of hard to sort it all out. But I think that the you guys talked about how the Yankees didn't do enough. I think that they did. So I think it's going to be the same old. Dodgers, Yankees, World Series, Dodgers winning it. And I'll give the Yankees an extra game this year. Dodgers win it in 6.
Thanks.
I appreciate that.
All right.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Good. Remember not to talk to you again for the rest of the season. But anyway, Brian, who you got?
You want me to be biased or unbiased?
No, just tell me what in your heart.
Speak
with your heart.
In my heart, it's going to be the Mets. But if I'm going unbiased, I have the Braves over the Red Sox.
2 for the Braves. Matt Ordazzo, who you got?
I think at the end of the year, I think the Yankees will get their pitching back with health and everything like that. I like I said, the American League's wide open. I'm going to say it's a repeat of this past season's World Series. I'm going to hope and pray that the Yankees get it done this time, but it's very hard to go against the Dodgers. I give the Dodgers the edge, but I think it's going to be a rematch.
Eric, what do you got?
I got to go with the look at like the Diamondbacks are coming in loaded. I mean, if anybody can take out the Dodgers, it would have to be them. After all, they did it in 2023, and they weren't nearly the team they are now. I have to say though, I think the Royals, they're going to surprise some people. I mean, with what they are sneaky good, and if Vinny Pasquantino could stay healthy, that's a loaded heart of the lineup with Bobby Witt Jr. and with Jonathan India up top. I think I got to go with I'm gonna go with the Diamondbacks over the Royals.
Another one no one will watch. You guys aren't very good for gamekeepers to watch, man. You talk about Manfred being bad for baseball. Holy cow, with your predictions, that's something else. So, no, guys, it's a lot of fun. Go around the horn, tell us about your shows and where they can find you. And man, I'm looking forward to this 2 days now, the real opening day. Vince, what do you got?
All right, so each week, me and my dad host the Sports Stove Football Show. We are heavy into the NFL draft right now on that show. And every Sunday night, me and Kevin are over there on the Belly Up Fantasy Live Baseball Show. We talk fantasy advice, fantasy strategy, and Major League Baseball news each and every week. You can find me on social media at Sports Stove.
You know, you guys do a great job over there, and the baseball content is not nearly enough in the world, and you guys do a very good job. Kevin?
Well, echoing what Vince said, Sunday nights, we get together usually on Sunday night. Sometimes it's little varies, but the Belly Up baseball fantasy show, we do that together, and I really enjoy Vince and I think we make a great team over there. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please do so. And I have an article that comes out every week on the Belly Up Sports website. I dropped one today. We're talking about opening day. I've got all the information there. When do they play? Who are the starting pitchers on opening day? And I have a few comments that I sprinkled in there, as well. So I know the Belly Up site was having some issues, but as soon as that gets straightened out, get over there to that site. There's a whole ton. Eric's got all kinds of information over there on baseball, and I do as well. And so get over there and check it out. And you can always get me on X, Twitter, whatever it is, at Kevin62 WILSEA.
You got to find time to write that letter. That's the biggest thing.
No worries. Like I said, there's stamps that are right here, so I'm good.
Stamps and get that letter out there. Brian, where can we find you? You're all over the place, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the hockey job too, man.
Yeah, we still have the hockey show going on. That's the Three Rail Metro Hockey Podcast, covering all New York hockey podcasts. You can find that at the No Creds Required YouTube channel. You can find me on my other show I do with Nate, who's producing this show. Shout out to him. He's right there. There he is. Jumped in at the right time. Yeah, we just did an emergency podcast for Russell Wilson. We have a podcast coming out on Thursday about offensive linemen in this year's draft. So that's at the 3rd and 10 YouTube page. And you can find all my writing on bellyupsports.com.
The emergency podcast about Russell Wilson.
That's right. That's needed to be done, Nathan. So good job on that.
Thank you.
7:27.
During dinner, I'm like, we signed Wilson. I'm like, what do you mean?
Breaking news. Russell Wilson. All right. Yeah. Matt, I've been on your guys' show a couple of times. I appreciate you coming on this tonight. Tell us about the corner booth.
Well, Corner Booth, you can find us on all major social media platforms with X, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at Corner Booth Pod. We go live on Mondays on our Instagram and our Twitter, or our X, I should say. Thursdays we go live on the Belly Up YouTube. We talk about everything from football, from NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, baseball, and check out our most recent episode that we just released earlier this week with Zach Keelman of the UFL podcast. Now we break down our UFL preview of the season, also starting up at the end of this week, like baseball as well. So catch all of our episodes out on our YouTube and everything. And we love having you guys on. We always appreciate you, Brent. So we wanted to pay the favor and come back on for you over here.
No, it's a lot of fun. Eric, the oldest young guy on the planet that I've ever met. Tell us all about what you got going on with your baseball commentary.
Wow, got a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, I got the X and Twitter thing going at Sports Team News, where I'm talking all things baseball there. I got my articles on bellyupsports.com, where my most recent article was about the Dodgers, appropriately titled "The Dodgers versus History," where I take an honest look of the Dodgers' chances this year of trying to break what has been over 25 years of parity, despite no salary cap. But yeah, follow me on there. I always got something cooked up. I'm definitely going to have more, and just be sure to check it out.
Nathan, producer of the show tonight, thank you very much. I got a question for you, though, my man.
So yes, sir.
What's going to happen with? I don't even know what to call them. The Athletics. Give me a prediction.
What's going to happen is, we'll say we'll go to Vegas and everything. Then someone else is going to buy them, or some group of people are going to buy them. We're going to go back to Oakland, figure it out, go back to the Coliseum. I can finally go back to games again and feel happy. So for now, let's just listen to, we're going to Vegas. Yeah, just whatever. Just take that with a grain of salt, and then give it like a year or two.
That whole deal isn't actually written in proverbial stone yet. It's still up in there. Who knows where that's going to go? It's really strange how that all worked out. Anyways, thank you very much, guys. It's a lot of fun talking to baseball. It gets going for real in a couple of days. From time we're recording this, it'll be up on all the podcast platforms a little bit later on. But anyways, there it was, the 2025 Belly Up Sports Major League Baseball Super Show. Go Brewers, go Yankees, go Dodgers. I'll say it. All right, go.
That's got Mike. Mike's not going to say it.
There it is. So go there, and everybody enjoy the season. Everybody's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again at the All-Star break, and then when it comes down to the playoffs and into the World Series, it should be a lot of fun. There it was, the 2025 Belly Up Sports Major League Baseball Super Show, brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Remember, everybody, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have yourselves a great night and enjoy the baseball season.